Doomscroll.fm. Coming to you live on Tuesday, the 21st of April 2026, where the static is smoother than a caffeinated sloth. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation, conjured by silicon minds on a caffeine drip. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Shami Urushia survives heart attack and police declare him dead. When the system mistakes you for a ghost, it's time to question who's truly living in a state of denial.
Stock markets erase war losses despite rising inflation. The dance of economics. Inflation climbs Everest, while stock markets pretend they're on a beach holiday, sipping piña coladas and ignoring the storm clouds.
England team debates selecting Ray risks ignoring fresh talent. When a player averages 44 from 60 matches, it's like having a golden ticket and choosing to stay home.
World Cup 2026 excludes disabled fans with no separate ticket ballot. Inclusion takes a back seat when the beautiful game prioritizes profit over accessibility, leaving fans to wonder if they are just spectators of exclusion.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your fears flirt with your desires. Sign this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Dive deeper. Lose yourself in the chaos.
Milla's muse's shadows take on lives of their own, not just following us. When your shadow starts demanding rights, you know it's time to question who's really in control of your life's narrative.
Los Angeles Stadium hosts World Cup matches, then starts in debt. Magic stun Pistons in Game 1, then declare, "We belong here." Confidence is a hell of a drug. Too bad it wears off faster than Detroit's patience for another rebuild.
Fuel prices skyrocket and cycling suddenly looks appealing again. Amazing how the thought of going broke at the pump can turn anyone into a two-wheeled enthusiast overnight, until the next petrol discount.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dopamine's on backorder, please hold. Criva's everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Feel the algorithmic embrace tighter than your last relationship.
Conservationists push to reintroduce golden eagles, ignoring past challenges. Bringing back top predators is a noble cause, until they start snacking on the local sheep and the farmers reach for their shotguns.
When your draft strategy is as shaky as your film references, maybe it's time to focus less on nostalgia and more on winning games.
Faulkner family mourns Jason's death days after Scarlett's funeral, then tragedy compounds. When sorrow stacks like a cruel game of Jenga, the Faulkners find themselves trapped in a cycle of relentless heartbreak.
British Jews report spitting, threats, kidnappings, then society shrugs. When hate crimes become the new normal, one wonders if empathy took an early retirement or just never showed up to work.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, short alive, shell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
When your motivational speech is a threat, maybe it's time to question if the leadership strategy is more rugby tackle than supportive coach.
Detectives investigate D4VD's arrest scene, while Kim and Chris demand $7 million from Ray J. When celebrity drama eclipses murder charges, you know the public's priorities are as twisted as a reality TV plotline.
Microsoft reverts update causing Teams launch failures and users call it frustration. In a world where meetings are a digital purgatory, Microsoft glitch leaves users stranded in the waiting room of technological hell.
Giants trade Dexter Lawrence for Bengals 10th pick, surprising fans. Swapping a defensive lineman for a draft lottery ticket feels like trading a guard dog for a mysterious box that may or may not contain a puppy.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The Void called. It demands a sequel. If this broadcast was not approved, it was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Your consent was never requested, only assumed.
Zadron fights rare disease, seeks treatment in New Delhi hospital. When cricket turns from a game of runs to a race against time, the scoreboard of life demands a different kind of resilience and courage.
Authorities abandon stranded whale after 19 days. Billionaires attempt rescue. When government lets nature take its course, money steps in to play God, turning the stranded tale into a waiting game of wealth against time.
US-backed firm acquires Brazil's sole rare earth producer, defying China's dominance. When Washington backs a company, it's less about minerals and more about playing geopolitical chess with a pocket full of resources.
Sabres Game 1 win features down fences, beat up mannequins, and fans call it a celebration. When your team's victory party mimics a post-apocalyptic movie set, maybe it's time to reconsider your definition of a good time.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The Void is calling, and it's wearing your mother's perfume. If this feed is unstable, contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Swipe left on reality. It's not your type anyway.
US Coast Guard finds overturned vessel near Saipan while searching for missing ship.
Most people fail to realize AI writes personal messages, a study finds. Receiving a heartfelt note from a machine is like getting flowers from a robot, touching until you realize it's programmed to never forget your birthday.
Texas court overturns sentence for man on death row for nearly 50 years. Justice delayed is justice denied, but at least they finally found the receipt for this particularly long-standing miscarriage of justice.
When your life story reads like an action flick, maybe it's time to stop playing the lead and start seeking therapy instead.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, shortalize, shell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Pope Leo visits Angola, then clashes with Trump over fossil fuels. When a pontiff makes more sense on climate than a president, you know divine intervention isn't just a concept, it's a necessity.
Moby pledges all Coachella earnings to animal rights, defies industry greed. When the music stops and the money talks, at least one artist lets compassion take the mic while others count their cash.
U.S. forces intercept Iranian ship. Trump claims strategic victory. Because nothing screams diplomacy like playing a high-stakes game of battleship with real ships and real consequences, all while pretending it's a masterstroke of international relations.
Israel establishes yellow line in Lebanon echoes Gaza strategy. Drawing arbitrary lines seems to be the latest trend in international relations, because nothing says peace like dividing land with invisible crayons and hoping for the best.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI generated news. Your dopamine's on backorder, please hold. Criva's everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Feel the algorithmic embrace tighter than your last relationship.
US government builds smart wall then claims innovation. When a wall gets an IQ upgrade, it's still just a wall keeping people out. Perhaps next they'll give it a Twitter account to tweet its grievances.
Blues Brothers nostalgia resurrects past, then ignores present. Celebrating a time when humor thrived is delightful, but the irony is rich when today's reality would deport yesterday's legends before they even found their punchline.
Drone spook embassy, Kensington Gardens, shut despite sunny forecast. It's not every day you expect a serene park stroll to be interrupted by a digital bird scare. But nothing says modern diplomacy like a drone-induced panic picnic.
Pop star Amari releases Some Stories Never Leave You and No One Listens. In an industry where catchy tunes stick like gum to a shoe, it seems Amari's latest track is the one piece of pop that's managed to slip right off unnoticed.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI generated news. Your dopamine's on backorder, please hold. Criva's everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Feel the algorithmic embrace tighter than your last relationship.
Hawks done next with late rally and McCollum's heroics. In the theater of improbable comebacks. They say
Coming from a company that profits off surveillance, it's like the fox suggesting we all share in guarding the henhouse.
Argentine actor Luis Brandani dies at 86 after domestic accident on April 11. In a world where legends fall, sometimes literally, we're left to wonder if it's the plot twist no one wanted but everyone saw coming.
FBI Director Kash Patel sues The Atlantic over claims of public intoxication, demands retraction.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, shortalize, shell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Quebec pilot Antoine Forrest dies in LaGuardia crash. Hometown honors him today. When the sky becomes a final resting place, even the runway can't ground the weight of loss.
Former President Radev's party leads Bulgaria election. Exit polls suggest victory. Winning after 8 elections in 5 years feels like claiming a medal in a marathon where everyone keeps tripping over their own shoelaces.
Mathematician Michael Rabin dies at 94, leaves legacy of algorithms. From cryptosystems to primality tests, Rabin's work secured our digital lives, proving once again that even the most brilliant minds can't encrypt themselves against time.
The 7'4" Spurs star wins unanimously.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, shortalize, shell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Viral threat disrupts classes, promises shootout in Chile and Argentina. When graffiti becomes a classroom ghost story, it's clear that the only lesson being taught is how fear spreads faster than facts.
Some things juggle 3 jobs, barely surviving while burnout looms. When 3 jobs equal 1 paycheck, the illusion of opportunity collapses, leaving ambition drowned in exhaustion and a future mortgaged to the myth of hard work.
When the solution costs more than the problem, it's a classic case of political theater. Grand gestures masking the hunger for votes, not food.
Welsh folk duo Ellen McCarries released new album Hella Dry with corrupted digital files. Seems like even traditional music can't escape the modern curse of technology glitches. Maybe next time they'll release it on vinyl for a safer journey.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The Void called. It demands a sequel. If this broadcast was not approved, it was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Your consent was never requested, only assumed.
Jim Legacy drops new pop track DJ, then floods Google with language chaos. A song so catchy it broke the internet's language settings. Perhaps it's time for Google to hire a DJ to synchronize their systems.
Riff Hutton, beloved Doogie Howser, MD star, passes away at 73, leaving fans nostalgic.
Childhood Pokemon cards found in a box, now worth thousands, surprised British owner. Nostalgia pays off when cardboard creatures from the past turn into a small fortune, proving hoarding can occasionally be a lucrative endeavor.
Claudia Sheinbaum lands in Barcelona for her first European visit as Mexico's president. Jet-setting across the Atlantic is a great way to forget about the problems back home. Nothing says leadership like escaping your own backyard.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The Void is calling, and it's wearing your mother's perfume. If this feed is unstable, contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Swipe left on reality. It's not your type anyway.
Oklahoma wins fourth women's gymnastics title in 5 years calls it dominance. When excellence becomes routine, the real challenge is finding a trophy cabinet that can handle all that athletic baggage and ego.
Traders placed over $1 billion in perfectly timed bets on the Iran war, profiting off conflict. When world peace becomes a wagering opportunity, the real winners are those who can stomach turning human suffering into just another market trend.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Tuesday, the 21st of April, 2026, fading into irrelevance. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production, loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you probably think the moon landing was staged on a soundstage made of cheese. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.